I think we can call 2022 the year of budget anamorphic lenses. It's mid-December and I'm not even sure this is the last lens that we'll see this year. Let's talk about Sirui's missing piece for their full-frame anamorphic Venus set, the 135mm. This is the longest lens in the set, and there's very little to dislike about telephoto anamorphics. The only thing off the top of my head is the weight might make handling a bit challenging, but we'll get there. While the rest of the set has a 1.6 times squeeze, Sirui decided to push for more on their last lens and deliver a 1.8 times squeeze. This means the 135mm has a horizontal field of view equivalent to a 75mm spherical. This is still a bit tighter than the 100mm with 1.6 times, which matches a 62.5mm spherical. And you can really feel the difference in bokeh. Back to the weight thing of the longer telephotos, this one weighs 1300 grams or just under 3 pounds. And while it's a heavy lens, it's 200 grams lighter than the 100mm. I won't complain about that. The lighter build combined with Panasonic's anamorphic stabilization gives very pleasing results even handheld. Just make sure not to jitter while handling it. It's much easier to handle than Vasen's 135mm thanks to the difference in size and weight. Even then, we still have a 1/4 inch hole at the bottom of the lens to attach lens support. To get the tech specs out of the way, the lens has 82mm threads and comes with a variety of mounts: L, E, RF, and Z. Focus throw is about 120 degrees, and we have engravings in both feet and meters on both sides of the lens. Focus and iris gears are geared and match positions with the rest of the set. Considering this is a serious telephoto, I'm a little disappointed with the short focus throw. I'd want way more control over that. Maximum aperture matches the rest of the set at T2.9, while this hurts the wider end of the spectrum at 135mm. T2.9 is almost too hard to keep things in focus. For my tests, I'd go for T4 when trying to boost my depth of field a few inches. Minimum focus sits at 0.9 meters or just short of 3 feet, and face close-ups at this distance look pretty intense. Watch out for the change in squeeze factor though. At minimum focus, we'll see a lot of squeeze change, with squeeze at 1.67, while the most desired 1.8 times shows up at infinity. The thing I'll keep hammering on this review is bokeh. I love how these out of focus areas create a unique texture to the background. As per Sirui's tradition, the lens is super sharp at its focus plane, while the longer focal length almost cuts off the subject from its surroundings, lending to dramatic close-ups and dreamy feeling imagery. I do feel bokeh is not as elongated as I would want it to be though, like for a 1.8 times squeeze. I had lots of fun filming things from a pretty far away and still getting an interesting visual that I couldn't create with a different focal length. And going longer than this is definitely for specialty shots. In spite of the long focal length, we still see some pincushion distortion going on with this lens, but not to a point where it would be inconvenient, and most of the times, unless you're filming a grid, you're not going to notice it. For flares, I feel this 135 is the subtlest of the whole full frame set, with still strong saturated blue flares, but not as overpowering as they used to be. Even the general wash from large bright areas is better controlled here. The lens comes out on a crowdfunding campaign for just under $1,400, and the retail price will be $1,500 after that. This is a super fun long lens which allows for unique shots, but definitely not as versatile and popular as a wider focal length. I think overall I wanted bokeh to be a little more oval shaped, and I find it strange to have a 1.8 times to cap off a 1.6 times set. Not the best in terms of consistency. The lighter build is very welcome, as well as all the good mechanics. The price is very affordable compared to Vasen's 135mm full frame, but at the same time we have to deal with the changing squeeze factor. Are these pros and cons weighted more towards a positive or a negative result? I'd love to know what you think based on the test footage and about the overall lens. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one. Chito Ferradans, out.